I'll be the first to admit, I don't watch the news every day, but I could have sworn that Elon Musk was the richest man alive. In fact, at the time of recording this, Bloomberg estimates his net worth at around $272 billion, and the world is still waiting for him to become the first trillionaire in history. So how is it that you just clicked on a video about someone with a $2 trillion fortune? A number so massive, it completely overshadows the combined wealth of the top 17 richest people on Earth. Yeah, that sounds insane, but there's a reason. And the answer is simple: crude oil. Because when you are talking about Mohammed bin Salman, you are not just talking about a billionaire. You are talking about the de facto ruler of a country that literally carries his family name, Saudi Arabia. And at the center of that power is one company, Saudi Aramco, the largest oil and gas company in history. At times, it has been valued higher than almost any other company on Earth, competing with giants like Apple and Microsoft. But here's the difference. Those companies sell products. Aramco? It powers the world. And through that, MBS controls unimaginable wealth. Not just personal wealth, but national wealth. Because on top of Aramco, he also controls Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, the public investment fund, with assets of over $500 billion. So the real question becomes, what do you even buy when money stops being a limit? Well, let's start with something unbelievable. A painting. Not just any painting. The most expensive painting in human history. It's called Salvator Mundi, created somewhere between the 15th and 16th century, by none other than Leonardo da Vinci, a man whose genius defined an entire era. In 2017, this painting went on a global tour, displayed in places like Hong Kong, San Francisco, and New York. And when it finally hit the auction floor at Christie's, something unbelievable happened. It sold for $450,300,000, nearly $500 million, officially purchased by a Saudi prince. But according to multiple reports, that prince was just acting as a proxy. The real buyer? Mohammed bin Salman. And today, that painting isn't sitting in a museum. It's reportedly inside his private superyacht. Just imagine that for a second. A 500-year-old masterpiece of Jesus Christ, holding a crystal orb, worth $500 million, hanging casually on a wall, not behind bulletproof glass, not inside a gallery, just there. Because when you operate at that level, even history becomes decoration. But that's just the beginning. Because MBS doesn't just collect art. He transforms everything he owns into a statement. Take his cars, for example. One of the most outrageous in his collection is a gold-plated Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport. This machine alone costs around $12.5 million. And it's not just about the price. It's about performance. This car can reach speeds of 431 km per hour and go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 2.5 seconds. That's faster than most people can even process what's happening. To put that into perspective, even a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ takes about 2.8 seconds. But for MBS, speed isn't enough. Everything has to stand out, which is why many of his vehicles are literally covered in gold. And we are not talking about one or two cars. His collection includes a Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead Coupe, a Bentley Continental Flying Spur, a Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe, a Range Rover, and even a Mercedes-Benz G63 AMG 6x6, all customized, all extravagant, all part of a collection worth around $36 million. At this point, you start wondering, do these cars run on fuel, or just pure wealth? And if that still doesn't impress you, wait until you see where he lives. Because in 2015, MBS made history again by purchasing the most expensive residential property ever recorded at the time, a French palace known as Chateau Louis XIV. He bought it for $300 million, but buying it wasn't enough. He wanted perfection, so he completely rebuilt it. And for that, he brought in Ahmad Khashoggi, a developer known for blending luxury with innovation. The result? A palace that combines 17th century design with modern technology, spread across 57 acres. And here's where it gets even crazier. Over a 3-year period, more than 131,000 workers were involved in bringing this vision to life. That's an average of around 120 people working on the estate every single day. Stone masons crafting classical architecture, marble artists sculpting statues, garden designers creating massive landscapes with perfectly symmetrical French gardens, painters, decorators, engineers, all working together to build something that doesn't just look luxurious, but feels timeless. This isn't just a house, it's a statement. A symbol. A reminder that when money reaches this level, it stops being about necessity and starts becoming about legacy. And just when you think it couldn't get any more extreme, it does. Because that palace we just talked about, it's only one piece of a much larger picture. Inside Chateau Louis XIV, every detail is designed to impress. The master suites, the grand drawing rooms, and the massive cupola ceilings are all built to feel like something out of another era. But the real highlights? The chandeliers, the artwork, and the gardens that stretch endlessly across the estate. It's the kind of place where luxury doesn't just exist, it surrounds you. And here's the crazy part, that $500 million painting, Salvator Mundi, is worth almost double this entire property. And it's not even here, it's on a yacht. Yes, a yacht. Because when you're operating at this level, a mansion isn't enough. You need something that moves. That brings us to one of the most insane assets in MBS's collection, the super yacht, Serene Yacht. This thing is massive. We're talking about a vessel that stretches roughly 439 feet long, with a width of around 60 feet. That puts it among the largest yachts in the world. And it's not just big, it's loaded. On board, you'll find a fully lit jacuzzi on the top deck, multiple lounges, bars, and sitting areas, several guest staterooms, a massive master suite, a helipad, and even a garage for smaller speedboats. It's basically a floating palace. But here's where it gets even crazier. This yacht was originally built for a Russian billionaire, and at one point, Bill Gates reportedly rented it for $5 million per week. Let that sink in. Then in 2015, while vacationing in the south of France, Mohammed bin Salman decided he wanted it, so he bought it for around $550 million. Just like that, from one ultra-rich owner to another. But MBS didn't stop with yachts. He also stepped into something completely different. Sports, more specifically, football, or as Americans call it, soccer. Through the Public Investment Fund, he acquired Newcastle United, one of England's historic football clubs. The deal? Around £300 million. And while that might sound like a lot, it's actually small compared to the power behind it. Because the fund backing this purchase controls assets worth nearly $500 billion, which instantly made Newcastle one of the richest clubs in the world. And it's not just football. That same fund has investments in companies like Disney, Uber, Facebook, Starbucks, and Pfizer. So this isn't just about sports. It's about influence, global reach, and long-term strategy. Because while oil built the wealth, investments are what sustain it. And speaking of massive investments, let's talk about something even bigger. Hotels. Not just luxury hotels, but the biggest hotel on the entire planet. Introducing Abraj Kudai. This project is on a completely different scale. We're talking about a hotel with 10,000 rooms, 12 massive towers, and a total area of 1.4 million square meters. It even holds the record for the largest hotel ever built. The cost? Around $3.5 billion. And it's located in Mecca, making it a central hub for religious tourism. Inside, you'll find 70 restaurants, 4 helipads, parking space for nearly 3,000 vehicles, and rooms that can cost up to $5,000 per night. But that's not all. The first 5 floors are reserved exclusively for the royal family. Custom designed, private, untouchable. Because when you're royalty, even a hotel becomes your personal space. And just when you think this level of ambition can't go any further, it does. Because Mohammed bin Salman isn't just buying luxury, he's building the future from scratch. Welcome to NEOM, a city that doesn't just aim to compete, but to redefine how cities work. Announced in 2017, this project comes with a budget of $500 billion. Yes, $500 billion. The idea? A fully smart, self-sustaining, zero-carbon city, 3 times the size of New York City, designed so that everything you need is just a short walk or bike ride away. No traditional roads, no normal traffic. Instead, you get autonomous electric transport, high-speed underground systems, and even urban air mobility. Think flying taxis. The port? Fully automated. The airport? Seamless from entry to departure. And parts of this city, like the line, are already under construction. Which means, this isn't just a concept, it's happening. And when you zoom out, you start to understand something. This isn't just about wealth, it's about scale, power, control. Because when you control over 550 million acres of land, rich in natural resources, you're not just rich, you're operating on a completely different level. In fact, that makes Mohammed bin Salman one of the largest landowners on earth, behind only the British Crown, and ahead of even the Pope. Let that sink in. So now the question becomes, what do you give someone who already has everything? A man with access to trillions, palaces, yachts, cities, and influence across the globe. Honestly, we may never know. Because at that level, it's no longer about buying things, it's about shaping the world itself.